Giannis to the Raptors? Man, this is the move that the entire NBA fears. We're talking about Giannis, 25-year-old, the 15th pick from the 2013 draft. Body chiseled like stone from a Greek god. He's been properly named the Greek Freak. Now, likely he's going to be the back-to-back regular season MVP, a guy who's gotten better every single year that he's been in the NBA. Now, he's currently averaging almost 30 points, 14 rebounds, and 6 assists. Absolutely unbelievable numbers. He's led his team to the #1 seed yet again in the upcoming playoffs. But what if the Milwaukee Bucks don't actually reach the NBA Finals this year? What if for the second consecutive year the Bucks go home in the conference finals? Or what if the Bucks don't even make it to the conference finals this season? Listen, I think they're going to be faced with a very tough decision that they're going to have to make this offseason. Do we stand pat and roll the dice, hoping that Giannis is going to re-sign with us in the summer 2021? Do we feel that after having the best record in the NBA 2 years in a row and not even making it to the NBA Finals, is that going to be enough to keep Giannis? Or will the Bucks decide that it's better to get something for Giannis rather than lose him for nothing, just like the Thunder did when Kevin Durant left? Listen, it's not often that a team is tasked with a decision like this to make. Some players, they make it easy by letting the world be known that they're not going anywhere. But some players make statements like these. The one that Giannis made when he was asked about his upcoming free agency. Listen, let's be very clear. If the Bucks win the title this year or even make the NBA Finals, I think that the idea of Giannis going anywhere is off the table. But if you watch my previous video, I don't think the Bucks are going to make the finals. I'm going with the Toronto Raptors to come out the East yet again. So in this journey, I'm going to break down what it would take for Giannis to actually leave the Bucks and end up with the Raptors. Let's get it.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Welcome back to Journey of a Ballaholic, the best talk show for basketball addicts. I'm your host, General Hannibal X. Now, if you're new on this channel, you're going to be getting my passionate and in-depth analysis on the hottest NBA and college basketball topics. Listen, I'm a ballaholic. I'm absolutely addicted to basketball. And like everyone, I have an opinion. But if you like opinions that are backed by facts, go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, but also be sure to tap that bell notification so that you'll be updated whenever I drop new videos, which is every Monday and Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, before we get too far into this video, I have to take time out to thank Dom2K for giving my channel a major shout out recently. Listen, bro, that was greatly appreciated. Now, if there's anybody who hasn't checked out his channel, please be sure to do so. Now, let's go ahead and get into this thing. And I think there's only two options. There's two options of how the Raptors can land Giannis Antetokounmpo. The first is going to be through a trade. Now, the 2021 NBA salary cap in January was expected to go down to $115 million. Now, that could change actually based on the lost revenue due to the NBA and the shutdown from this whole COVID-19 situation. But for now, let's just work off of the figure that we have. Giannis right now is set to make $27.5 million next year. Now, that's the last year of his contract before his 2021 free agency next summer, meaning that the Raptors will have to send out contracts close to that amount as well as talent somewhat close enough to be able to entice the Bucks into making a trade deal. That's where I think Pascal Siakam comes in. Now, Pascal Siakam signed his 4-year, $129.9 million extension October 21st, 2019. Siakam is 6'9" with a 7'3" wingspan. Now, after winning his 6th Man of the Year award, he proved in the finals last year that he was good enough to be the #2 option on the title team. Now, let's just stop and think about that for a second. How many guys have actually proved that they could be a top 2 option on the title team that's still in the league today? I'm not talking about a guy like Anthony Davis or James Harden, Paul George, or even Russell Westbrook. See, these guys are elite. They're so good that we believe that they can be that. But I'm talking about the guys that have actually gone out and proved that they can be that. The list is really short, man. Only LeBron, Kawhi, Durant, and Steph Curry, they're the only guys in the NBA today that have proven that they could be the #1 option on a championship team. Now, as far as the #2 options, you got guys like Kyrie, Klay Thompson, and the last is Pascal Siakam. That's it. It's those 7 guys. That's it. These are the only guys in the game today that are proven they could be the first or second best option on the championship team. Now, I hate to burst some Raptors bubbles, because I understand how much you guys love Pascal. But for the Raptors to even consider making a trade to acquire Giannis, Siakam must be in that trade. Now, there will likely also have to be included draft pick considerations. Now, I get it. I understand that right now, as we speak, there are Bucks fans sitting in the back screaming and pulling their hair out that there's no way that the Bucks would trade Giannis for Siakam and picks. But listen, for the Bucks taking Siakam back in exchange for not letting Giannis walk out the door next summer for nothing in return, to me that is an amazing consolation prize. Siakam is still only 26, don't forget that, and he's got a ways to go before he hits his ceiling. Listen, who knows? If the Raptors shock the world and win the title this year, Pascal would throw his name into the hat of those guys that are good enough to be the best player on a title team. Then that would leave a really interesting situation. That would put the Raptors fans in a real pickle. Would you all trade Siakam for Giannis if the Bucks made Giannis available even after winning back-to-back titles with Siakam? That's a very interesting decision that both teams will have to think about. But let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. I mean, listen, it's not like I haven't already done that so far. So let's just take a step back for a second. Why would the Bucks even consider trading away Giannis, some may ask? Listen, he's a generational talent. Man, Giannis reminds me of a young Shaq, the Orlando Magic Shaq from back in the 90s. Some of you may not be old enough to remember that Shaq. Well, just picture Giannis with the bigger frame, more powerful, but he has a worse handle and a worse shot. Listen, I know, that's scary, and that's what Shaq was when he was with Orlando. See, the Bucks, they already made one of the worst trades in NBA history. You gotta go back years ago, when they traded away Kareem Abdul-Jabbar after just his 6th season in Milwaukee. Basically for a bunch of guys that nobody knows. Now, recently I did a video on one of those guys that was involved in that trade, Junior Bridgman. Well, let's just say that Junior Bridgman, he's known more for his Wendy's empire than what he was as far as being an NBA player. So what's the chances that Milwaukee would let their fears over Giannis leaving force them to trade him before next summer? Well, I'm not a psychic, but I almost certainly know that unless Giannis does what Anthony Davis and Kawhi Leonard did, which is demand a trade and basically sit out, that the Bucks will keep Giannis up until the very last moment that he walks out of that door. Now, can you blame him? Well, honestly, I could. And I honestly would. See, the Oklahoma City Thunder and the Cleveland Cavaliers, they did the exact same thing. They let Kevin Durant and LeBron James, other generational talents, walk out the door with no compensation. To me, I call that not being self-aware. You've got to be in tune with your stars, your organization, and their management. Think about this. The end of this season will complete 7 years, and the end of next year will be the 8th season in Milwaukee for Giannis. Keep in mind, Kevin Durant spent 9 years at OKC before he left for Golden State. Dwight Howard spent 8 years in Orlando before he wanted out. LeBron spent 7 years in Cleveland before he walked out to Miami. Anthony Davis spent 7 years in New Orleans before he wanted to go to LA. Kawhi Leonard spent 7 years in San Antonio before he wanted to get out. And even Paul George spent 7 years in Indiana before he wanted to be traded. And the list goes on and on. So that 7 to 8 year mark, that's about the time that most all-world, all-generational talented type players, that's how much they're going to give in one place before being fed up with not winning a title. Keep in mind, Giannis he's not just any old talent. Giannis has led the NBA in PER over the last 2 seasons. Both of those seasons, his PER was over 30. And the PER that Giannis has for this year is the 7th highest in NBA history for any player in any season. Now granted, PER is far from a perfect stat, and I actually think I'm going to do a video breaking down how the PER is a flawed metric to use, and I think I'll do that video pretty soon. So make sure you go ahead and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss out on that episode. But listen, if the Bucks don't win a title, or at least make the finals this year, I think one or two things will happen. I think either Giannis will ask for a trade this summer, or he'll stick it out for one more season to see if they can win a title next year. But if not, that's when I think he's gone. And it's Toronto, Canada, and the Toronto Raptors that I think will be the perfect place for Giannis to go. Which brings me to the second option, which would be Giannis going to the Raptors as a free agent next summer. See, the Raptors only have $86 million on the books right now for next season. Now they could potentially keep Pascal Siakam and add Giannis to that front court, right into their open salary cap space, which is expected to be around $115 million. Listen, man, Masai Ujiri, he is an absolute mastermind. Do not sleep on him. Canada and the Raptors, they become an international hub for players from all around the world. Listen, you gotta remember this. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, they're coming back next year. And they could prove to be the exact reason that Giannis decides to team up with another bona fide superstar like Pascal Siakam. Listen, I've said this before. This is the best year for Giannis to make it to the finals and win a title in Milwaukee. There's no LeBron in the East anymore. Kawhi got his ring and went to LA. Then Durant is sitting out this year, which is his first season in the East. There is no other superstar on the level of a Giannis, a LeBron, Kawhi, or Durant that's in the East this year. So similar to Cleveland years when LeBron was there during his first stint, I see the Bucks as a team finishing just like those teams did before LeBron left. The Cavs in 2009 and 2010, they had the best record in the East. They had the best player in the conference, yet they never made it to the finals during those 2 years. Now, that brings me to the third option. And it's honestly not an option that the Raptors or the Bucks fans really want. But we have to discuss it. If the Raptors knock Giannis out of the playoffs yet again, I don't see him deciding to join them as a free agent. I think he would leave Milwaukee though. Don't get it twisted. But I do think that he would consider going to another destination that's not Toronto. Now, whether that's Miami, who's going to have a ton of cap space, or another destination that could make a trade for the Greek Freak, I think that option is out there. Now, the best case for Toronto this year is to have the Milwaukee Bucks lose in the second round, whether that's to the Miami Heat or even the Sixers. That way that Giannis kind of gets fed up with losing in Milwaukee, but at the same time, he doesn't have that bad taste in his mouth from losing to the Toronto Raptors 2 years in a row. Now listen, if you've missed any of my videos where I broke down the Toronto Raptors and why defense will be the reason for them to win the championship, go ahead and click the box right here. Also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure that you click on the logo up top. Listen, I appreciate you for taking a look at this video. As always, please make sure you stay safe out in the streets. And remember, no justice, no peace.